Hi there, I'm Mark from Valor Excel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'd like to talk to you about something that you may never have considered before. If you're the owner of a small business or a nonprofit, you are in very unique company. There aren't many people who have enough fortitude to undertake something like that. You had an idea, you had a vision, there was something you wanted to accomplish, and you took a lot of steps. Some of them were mental, some might have been physical, some were financial. You had to work diligently toward whatever your goal is. And you find yourself today with some real world entity that is an outpouring of what started as just a small spark of imagination for you. You were obviously passionate enough about what you believed in to even undertake something as complex as creating an organization of your own. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is the inherent value of that as it pertains to the fact that you have a story to tell. You may never have thought about it before, but you walked through a journey to get from point A to whatever point you find yourself at with your organization today. Nobody ever really arrives. We're always on the journey. There's always another hill to get over. There are always more steps to take. But it's interesting to stop and think that wherever you find yourself today, you are already farther along the road than somebody who just started yesterday. And it might be hard for you the longer you go to remember what it was like when you were first getting started. But it can be incredibly overwhelming, particularly if you've never done anything like creating an organization before. Where do you even start? Maybe today you don't remember quite as clearly how stressful that was and how much mental energy you had to invest into getting all of the nuts and bolts sorted out. But for someone who finds themselves in the throes of it right now, they're asking so many questions that you found answers for a long time ago. So one of the most amazing aspects of considering the idea that you have a story is recognizing that you can be tremendously helpful to others who are just undertaking the journey that you are now much farther along on. So today, I'd like to talk to you as the owner of a small business or a nonprofit about the idea of writing a book based on what you've gone through, what you're doing, and what you plan to do. Now, you might throw your hand up and say, wait a minute, I'm no writer, I can't do that. But it's not necessarily about writing for the sake of trying to create great art. It's more about emoting, expressing what you've dealt with on your journey, and maybe most importantly, sharing some advice for those who are just beginning their journey so that they don't have to necessarily trip in all of the potholes that you did. Now, sometimes, particularly in a business setting, we tend to get very jealously guarded about what we know. And I'm certainly not advocating sharing trade secrets or intellectual property or something that would enable your competitors to simply swoop in and steal your market. But what I am talking about is being willing to share your experiences, and it's that experiential aspect that people really crave. It's not enough to simply understand the basics of business administration or the ins and outs of setting something up. It's much more so about learning how you walk that journey out. As you move on beyond the initial inception of your business or nonprofit, as you grow and bring new team members in and embrace new aspects of your mission. That's where being able to tell your story can really be critically important for others. One of the most important things that you can do is to recognize that the information you have is incredibly valuable because it is a knowledge base. Ultimately, you can't simply Google lessons learned for a small business and really know all the ins and outs. You might get some good information here or there, but what it boils down to is people want to be able to hear from someone else in a genuine way. It's not about trying to package whatever it is that you've experienced, but it's much more so about simply being relatable, being able to describe your own anxieties, stresses, misgivings, things you had questions about. And again, it's not about saying, hey, I've arrived. It's about saying, hey, I'm on the journey. And if you're just starting the journey, don't give up at the gate because you can do this. Even if you haven't figured everything out, because guess what? You never will. There will always be something new to figure out. And that's what's great about knowledge sharing. It's sharing what you know today, with someone who doesn't know it. It's being able to be a resource for someone else. Now, the reason why I feel that it can be really beneficial to consider writing a book is because you, A, have amazing lessons that you've learned that you can share with others, and B, you have an inspiration. Something inspired you to create your business or your nonprofit, and that inspiration can resonate with other people if you present it in a genuine way. Even if they're not specifically interested in the same field that you are, even if they would never directly follow in your footsteps, simply being able to articulate how you took something that you passionately cared about and crafted a real-world enterprise around that can be the perfect motivator for someone else to start on their journey. And the idea of writing a book might seem far-fetched, but it really shouldn't be. The whole realm of self-publishing has really opened up tremendous opportunities for individuals to get their story out there where they might not have been able to in dealing with the traditional publishing market. On the average, 1.7 million self-published books are released each year. That's a tremendous audience. And it's important to recognize, too, that many of those are ebooks. According to Statista, 191 million ebooks were sold in the U.S. in 2020. Another really important concept to keep in mind is the whole idea of audiobooks. We live in a world now where so much content is digested from audible sources, podcasts, YouTube, and audiobooks are a massive component of that. The idea of being able to hear in your own voice and your own words what your experiences are is a guaranteed way to resonate with whoever is listening. You can either do an audiobook as its own standalone volume or as a companion to a more traditional text-based book. Now, I can certainly understand if you don't particularly have an aptitude for writing, it may seem like an overwhelming concept to even consider writing a book. But keep in mind, you can also enlist the aid of someone else who can be your co-author. The book can be by you with them. Also, if you feel a little intimidated at the idea of writing a full-length book, don't worry. Today, it's so easy to create things in a digital format that through something as humble as a PDF, you can write a smaller, much more concise, and maybe even more hard-hitting retelling of your experiences and your inspiration. And a PDF is something really amazing because if you specifically craft it for your clients or your customers, the people that you serve through your business or your nonprofit, it can feel a lot more personalized for whoever is reading it. And if you provide it to those readers free of charge, there's no better incentive marketing that you'll ever find. It really shows people that you have a vested interest in how they're being impacted by your services. It shows that you care about the quality of what you're doing, and you want to be able to express things in a way that's beneficial, that leaves lasting impact and brings value to those people that you're serving. If even that sounds a little too grandiose of a starting point, then if nothing else, consider writing a blog. You can do it on your own company website. You can do it on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. The frequency is less important than the content. It doesn't have to be lengthy, but it has to be meaningful. So find topics that really resonate with you and that you think would be beneficial for the people who visit your website to read. That can be just the beginning of things. From there, maybe you move on to a shorter PDF and then maybe eventually an ebook or an audiobook. Maybe even a podcast someday or a YouTube channel. Every small business and nonprofit has an incredibly important story to tell, and so do you. So please don't let that fall by the wayside. I want to encourage you to find ways, even small ones, to get started on that journey of telling your story. As you feel more confident, you'll feel more confident telling more, and you'll be able to do things with greater detail and clarity. And that's part of your journey as well. And who knows, maybe someday you'll write a book talking about how you approached writing a book. It's a great endless cycle, and there's no better time to start than now. A few minutes ago, I talked about writing something short and putting it into a PDF format that you can give to other people. Well, we did that at Valor Excel, and I'd like to offer that free PDF to you simply by clicking on the link in the description below this video. It's called Taking Your Organization's Temperature. Now, for us, it seemed like a logical starting point for having a discourse with people about the healthy trajectory of their own organizations. You can download it and apply it to whatever your venture is. It's 30 simple statements about how you're doing things. And as you maneuver through it, it'll give you a clear perspective on whether or not you really are moving in a healthy way to let your organization thrive and grow in the days to come. If this video was beneficial for you, would you please give it a like? And in the comments below, let me know, have you ever considered writing anything about your experiences with your business or nonprofit? And if you have written things, let me know what kind of outlets have you put them into. Have you published something? Have you done a blog? Have you gotten the information out there where others have easy access to it? I also encourage you to subscribe to this channel. We have new content every week, specifically tailored for small businesses and nonprofits. I'd like to thank you again for joining me today. Please come back for the next installment. Remember, at Valor XL, we're committed to helping you do smart work. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.